Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, James.
That as well.
Come on, James.
I'm getting so distracted with Fallout.
I was going to say, Ted, can you and I just have an off-the-record conversation really quick? Ted?
Sure.
Here's the problem with James.
Do I have to stop recording?
No, we can keep it on the record. Let's keep it on the record. Let's just keep this on the record. Here's the issue with James. Just like Tears of the Kingdom, he's not going to play Rebirth. He's missed his window. He's never going to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which means he'll never play the third one.
Yep.
It'll come back. I will be playing it next week, next Friday when I get back from my work trip.
You know,
I don't believe
it's
it
funny.
for a
Well,
second.
because Jake,
Listen, I want to play it on my nice 65-inch TV, but it's like the main TV, so it's
Tell your lady she's got to move. Cloud's got to save the fucking world.
true. We're watching Peacemaker right now.
Oh, God.
I gotta watch Peacemaker.
Jake, you complaining about that is a lot like what the actual Square Enix is saying of like not enough people played it, and it's like, well, yeah, because the people who didn't play the first one aren't going to start at the second one. That's how this works.
But James has played the first one.
I played the first one.
Yeah.
Did you beat it?
But back to Tears of the Kingdom, like I can't play that until I beat the new Mario and Rabbids.
That's not true.
There's my case.
That's not true. There's nothing linking you to that. That's just not true.
Yeah, let me.
I don't like
tell
that.
you,
And
I don't.
Metroid Prime. I still gotta play Metroid Prime. You know, like there's just so many games I gotta play.
So many games. He's gonna replay Fallout for the 100th time.
I never played Fallout 3 or New Vegas on record.
You've never played Fallout 3 or New Vegas?
Nope.
Oh.
Fallout 4 was my first Fallout. Just like
That
Skyrim was
is-
everyone's first Elder Scrolls game.
So when you were going around telling people Fallout 4 might be my favorite Fallout game, what you meant was it was my only Fallout game?
it's still my favorite.
Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 167. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles.
He's never played Fallout 3.
Yeah, he's only played one
No,
Fallout
I'm
game.
playing it right now, and you
Oh
know
my
what?
gosh.
It's not good because it's too old, but it's still fun with the modded.
How dare you?
It's very old.
And we're
dare
joined,
you, sir.
as always, by, and mostly unfortunately by, Ted Libby.
Reporting for duty.
Aye, Captain.
Yeah.
We got a show today, guys. We got a good little show for you. You know, we're going to talk about some Dragon's Dogma 2, which I played about 16 hours of. And
Whoa.
yeah.
You actually put time
I
in
got opinions. I have enough time in this game to have an opinion, James.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we're going to talk about some just kind of end of the year stuff for 2023 and then also this first quarter of gaming and what we thought about it. That's kind of where we're at. Now, I throw it up to Ted because he's my favorite and least favorite person on this podcast. James, you're right in the middle. Right in the middle.
I'm both
Nice.
yin
I read the
and yang.
line.
Yeah. Ted is both the yin and yang. You are the line that separates the yin and the yang. What do you want to start with, Ted? Do you want to talk about Dragon's Dogma? You want to talk about games this year? Dragon's Dogma.
No, I really want you to talk about Dragon's Dogma.
Sure.
A game that I think James and I both postponed, did not purchase. We'll be maybe checking out later. Who knows?
On sale. I'll get it.
Yeah, due to I don't want to call it mixed reviews, but just due to reviews and general discussion of the game. So I really want to hear your take of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Ooh.
All right. I was really
Nice
hoping that'd be a
segue
lot
there.
louder, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
I was hoping there's like a noise.
For our audio listeners, he tried to crack
I
open
tried to
a can
crack
of
a beer, and it was eerily quiet. Yeah, so I played, like I said, 16 hours of Dragon's Dogma 2. Maddie was out of town last weekend, or last week, so I was like, what can I do? And I was like, all right, I'll try out Dragon's Dogma 2. I should have just bought Strange Ways or whatever for Resident Evil for $10.
Yeah.
But I spent $70 on Dragon's Dogma 2. Developed by Bandai Namco. It is the sequel to a PS3.
No.
Capcom, excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh
you're
my
right.
gosh.
Oof. Have I even played
James,
this game? That's what I'm
James
gonna ask.
just went to Japan. You can't
can't
pull a
screw
fast
that
one
up.
on
I was
him.
like, Bandai Namco doing crazy with their games recently.
No, it's developed by Capcom. It's actually developed in the RE engine, James. Which is kind of cool.
my favorite engine.
So good. So good.
It's so good.
But it's a sequel to a PS3 game. I think that's kind of important to note on this game in some interesting ways. It is an RPG that is, I wouldn't say like hardcore RPG, but it's definitely got some systems that kind of make it a little less friendly and a little more obtuse in certain ways. But the main concept of this game is that you create your hero character, and then you create what's called a pawn. And these pawns are the NPC companions. and you and your pawn. I made Gandalf. The character creator is super detailed, incredibly easy to mold and make people look like what you want them to look like, which is pretty cool. So I made
Nice.
Gandalf. Unfortunately, couldn't pick an old man voice, so Gandalf's got this like young, whiny voice. And then the kind of premise of like the fun of the game is like as you explore the world, pawns will kind of come up to you and like want to join your party. You can have a total of 3 other pawns, a party of 4, and these pawns are made by other people, other players. So sometimes it will
that's
be
cool.
like Capcoms, and they're like normal NPCs. Then you'll run into like Daenerys Targaryen, and it's like really cool. Like that's the coolest part of this game is like, oh my god, Rebecca Ferguson from Dune just walked up to me and like is a wizard and wants to join my squad, and that is like cool.
The best one that I saw on the internet was a pretty accurate to real life George Costanza.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Quite good.
Yeah, I've seen a Garfield. I've seen like because you can be cat people. There are cat people as well. So there's humans and cats, catmen.
Aren't they called like bestials or something like
They
that?
are,
There's, like,
and I'm
a
going to be
race?
honest. The first 16 hours, not a lot of talk about them.
No, you go to their kingdom at some point.
Yeah, I figured
late
you
in the
probably
game.
did. Yeah. But in the 16 hours, I've visited 2 kind of, I would say, kingdoms, I guess. Yeah, so this game is very much going out exploring. It's very hardcore in a way of like your health bar as you go on adventures out in the world away from towns. Like you'll get injured and you'll lose health that you can revive, but also you'll like lose like health bar that you can't get back. So like you have to go and rest at campfires or the inn or stuff to like recoup that missing health bar that you can't ever recover.
Right.
So it's like your rest meter almost, I guess, in a way. And the loop is very much you go out, you go explore, you're going to do your mission, and something distracts you like an open world game, and then a griffin flies at you, and then a griffin is attacking you, and then a troll joins the fight, and now you're fighting a troll who's fighting a griffin who's fighting you. And that's really cool. The other kind of concept of this game is that every class is called a vocation. So there are like swordsmen, which is called like the fighter or warrior, mages, rogues, all that kind of the general stuff. And you can switch and you can rotate your vocations constantly. And that's kind of the point of the game is that you get skills and you want to kind of keep moving around to get new skills that can build into your character. That's like the general vibe of this game. That's the 16 hours that I played. The reason that I kind of shelved it, and then we can dive into like details, but the reason that I shelved it after 16 hours is I started to feel like the game wasn't like respecting my time in a way of like the game has like weird limitations that almost feel that they are put there on purpose to make you spend more time in the world. And not in a way that's like fulfilling all the time. So one of the instances is that I will give is like, there's the main castle town that you go to, and it's got a portal that you can portal to. You can fast travel to, but you have like a currency for fast travel. So it's like these stones that you have to find throughout the world in order to fast travel, which I think is very cool. So like this game forces you to go on adventures. What I didn't love about this system is that I did get to like the second big town that was like a mission told me to go here to go meet somebody. And I was like, yeah, let's go to this town. Well, this town's much bigger than the first castle town. It does not have its own portal. It does not have its own fast travel location. So I had enough stones, but if I wanted to go back to their kingdom, couldn't fast travel. However, Ted, you're able to buy for $3 on the store this crystal. So you can have crystals that you can put anywhere in the world. And you can have up to 4 of them, and you can get them through quests, but you can also buy one in the store.
Yeah.
And would you believe
This
that?
is very much a single player game.
Oh, 100% single player. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy these on the store. So I bought one on the store because I was like, fuck you. I don't want to not be able to get back to this. It took me like 2 hours to walk to this town. So I bought one. And after I bought one, I got this horrible hollow feeling of like, fuck, they got me. Like this is the system that was put in place to like fuck with me. Like they wanted me to get to this place and be like, you want a crystal, buy a crystal. Cause you didn't complete the quest line that, So I just felt like the game didn't give me like this, like, you earned this location and all the cities have fast travel points. Like it felt like there was this like archaic system in here to get you to like use real money or to progress within these quest lines despite like pointing you in this direction. So I just felt like that was kind of something that didn't vibe with me well. And then there are certain combat encounters that I got to in this second area where like I wasn't a high enough level to kill these things, or or didn't know the strategy to kill like the rock golems. Eventually they get like enraged and you can't kill them anymore. And the game's telling me like, we don't have the strength to kill them. And it's like, okay, but then if I'm already here, how do we get through this area? Like, I feel like I'm just like limited by lack of knowledge, and you're not helping me in that sense. So yeah, I had a weird kind of time with it. I enjoy parts of it, but I also think it's interestingly obtuse for like length reasons rather than because the design is there. I don't know. That's how I felt.
Yep.
I think you hit on something that's pretty important, which is a game not respecting your time, especially with how much time you put into it. 16 hours. You know, that's a significant amount of time just for a game. I think, I don't know, how many hours does it take to beat that game? 20, 30?
I think it's 40 to like 80 or something. It's somewhere around then.
I think I was reading 75.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like, it's just like these games nowadays, me talking as I've had like 80 hours of
Balatro, yeah.
But it's just like games nowadays where it's just you need to put in all these hours, and if the game's not respecting your time and you feel like it's just like sapping you, it's just, why not drop it? Like, why not do something that you feel is more rewarding or challenging? Oh, it's probably challenging, but just rewarding your time instead of like, hey, you got here to this point, congrats, give me $4 and
yeah,
we'll call it even.
It's so rubbed me the wrong way of like getting to another big town and being like, there's no fast travel here. Like,
awful.
It's just weird. Like, I don't know. Like, and that's where like this game being a sequel to a PS3 game, not that like the game feels old in its controls or like stuff like that, but it feels like a little clunky in its systems where like we've revised a lot since then as an industry about like standards of RPGs that like, I get you don't want to make a system where we just are beeping bopping around fast traveling. So like the currency, I don't mind that you have to find these stones to fast travel. That's fine. But like, don't also like have another thing to limit me from moving around this world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt really weird. So I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed the exploration enough, but it just got to the point of like, I'm just kind of doing the same thing and not feeling like I'm being adequately rewarded for my time. Yeah. That was kind of my thoughts on it. Ted, what are you thinking? I know it's a game we've all talked about a lot.
This very much goes in parallel with what I had heard about Dragon's Dogma 2. I read a Steam review early on that was then echoed by a lot of reviews, and it's something that I told you, and then you just told back to me. The review goes, it was short. It just says, if you are the kind of gamer who only enjoys 1 to 2 hour play sessions per night, Dragon's Dogma 2 is not for you. Yep. And from what I've heard from what the developers have spoken about this game is they are very much, the things that you don't like is what they were trying to do in a video game. They wanted you to go on long expeditions, to have to walk there, to have to walk back. Like that is very much the theming or the intentionality of the game, which, you know, in a way I think is very cool.
And I think they achieve it with that limiting the fast travel. Like totally fine. That is how they achieve that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah.
Well, so that is very interesting. I think it's definitely divisive. Of like, for me, I am a 1 to 2 hour play session gamer. So this game I was like, you know, I don't think I can do it. I'm just not in a place currently where I can just drop 6 to 8 hour play sessions on a weeknight. Yep. Maybe if you're in high school or in college.
Not yet.
Like this is, you know, fucking sick to just stay up till 1 a.m. every morning. But so I had definitely heard that, and I definitely heard that is what the developers wanted out of this game. That whole, you know, kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do here yet, so I can't complete it. That is part of their experience. It is a very old school role-playing game in that way. And all of that would have been fine, I think, except that they put something like fast travel up for sale in the store. Even if you spin that as like a bad joke or like a piece of satire where like you can ruin your experience by paying more money, it just in no way does it feel good.
It's such a Capcom thing though. Like even when we praise Capcom, praise Resident Evil and all that, but we know with Street Fighter and all this like cosmetics stuff is for sale, which I'm fine with. But when it becomes influential to the actual core gameplay, that to me is over the line.
Yeah, and the devs. So 2 important things happened. First thing, these microtransactions were not available on release day. Mm-hmm. These came out about 3 weeks later after a bunch of reviews had come out. So just
that's scummy.
So just up the scumminess bar, absolutely. Which is, you know, I don't know. That's just shitty. And like the devs came out and they did clarify that like in no way was Capcom's decision to make fast travel points for sale. That doesn't affect your game. You're not going to come to a point where like, oh, I just can't get any more fast travels, but I'm so invested in this game, I guess I have to spend money.
Sure.
But that doesn't absolve the problem. If anything, it doesn't even fix the problem at all.
No.
Jake, you immediately ran into a situation where you're like, oh, the big town
don't have a thing.
doesn't do it, so
Yeah.
I'm screwed unless I pay them extra money.
Yeah. And like I've gotten to smaller towns that had the travel crystal that I could just get. Like,
Right.
It really just felt like this moment of like, and like they have a quest line, and like at the end of this quest line, you were given one of these portal crystals or whatever they're called, but I didn't complete that quest line yet, and I was given a quest to go to this new city. So it's like I didn't even know that was like a thing that you were able to get, and just arriving and be like, "There's no fast travel here." That's like weird. There's everything else the old town had. There's no fast travel here. Like I had to look it up online. I was like, "Oh, there's not one, but you can get the quest one or just buy one." I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
So I bought one, and then like 2 hours later, I was like, "Why did I do that? I don't even like this anymore." Like this game has now just turned me off completely.
Yeah.
So, and I know microtransactions just do that to me in general most of the time too. It's like once I put that extra $5 in, I'm like,
I think it's fine, of course, when they're cosmetic. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. You want to look a certain way, like Fortnite skins and all that. But yeah, when it influences the game like that, or when you're at a point where you need to have that consideration because, of course, you didn't have the crystal, so it's like you need to do this because you're not wasting your time.
yeah,
Awful.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs
traps
to
the player.
affect gameplay. Just the threat that it could affect your gameplay. Just the fact
Which
that
it
it
did.
exists,
Which
it
it did.
exists at all, is enough to just leave a sour taste in the mouth for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. Like 'cause I was thinking about like Assassin's Creed is like in my opinion like one of the most like in your face trying to get you to buy stuff while playing a single player game. Like there's like a part of the menu that's just literally the store of like look at all the crazy gear you can buy, but like even they have like that double XP thing where like you get twice as much XP if you pay $5 or whatever. That doesn't limit what the game is. Like
Right.
all that's available in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I never did any of it. And 100 and something hours in, it's one of the great RPGs. So it's like that you can have those kind of balances of shop and open world role playing game without having them integrally mixed. And I just feel like this game didn't do that.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed to me is very much. I think it's quite stupid overall.
Yeah.
In that, like, Assassin's Creed whole pitch to you with the microtransaction store is like, hey, we made a 150-hour game. If you don't think you have time for that,
like, skip it, dog.
you can pay extra money to make it a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Which to me is just like
So stupid.
the stupidest fucking thing. Like,
Right.
like the deluxe edition of a movie is shorter than the regular. It's like no, it's like it's
The
ass
director's
backwards.
cut. I've cut out the middle. It's just the beginning and the end.
Yeah. The important stuff is all that's
Yeah,
left.
it's all that's left.
I cut out all that useless shit.
Yeah.
So like that to me has always kind of been a joke of like, obviously there are people who work way more than they can game and have that extra income, but to me it's always kind of been like the sucker charge of like I guess you could play this game less for more money, but this I think crosses a line in that you as the player are then pulled of like, man, if only I had this microtransaction, my life would be easier playing this game.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't even have this feeling of like, damn you, blah. I was like, all right, well, I'm done. Like it was like such a feeling of like, like I deleted off my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, we're done.
Yeah, and like hopefully one day maybe they remove it and like it can go back to being more of a pure like if you want to live in this world the way they want you to. But I definitely right now for your experience it was there and that's enough.
Yeah, it was enough for me to be like, all right, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Interesting game. Like I could see, if it's on sale for $20 and you're interested in it, I think it's a good thing to just try. But
I think I bought Dragon's Dogma 1 for like $4 many years down the line.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bargain bin for me, and I played 2 hours of it and went, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is a PS3 game.
Yeah. It does. And
But,
this sounds so dumb, but it makes you realize too, like how great Elden Ring is compared to like other open world fantasy games of like.
And we're just 2 months away from the best DLC probably of all
time.
ever. Any sort of From Software game, they probably put in the most time on this DLC because usually they come out in 6-month periods.
Yeah.
It's been
2 years.
well over.
I don't have time to disagree on this episode, but I will say that like I hope that this
see if
game
Beast Witcher 3.
finds its audience.
I think it has too. Like this game has done very well. Dragon's Dogma 2 has sold very well.
The people who love Dragon's Dogma love this game. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you are interested in playing a gritty fantasy game that is there to take up hours of your time,
Yes.
this is definitely for you. I don't think the three of us here on this podcast, I don't think it's really for us.
I don't think it is either. Yeah.
I would like to try it one day, but I don't know when that day will
This
be.
game will be $20 by the end of the year. And not in a mean way, but just that's how the world we live in now works, is the most popular games become $20. This is a great transition point. Any final talks on Dragon's Dogma? I think we're ready. Because I wanted to play something new. You know? That's why I played Dragon's Dogma. So let's talk about 2024. A little bit about 2023. But 2024. First quarter, how are we feeling? How are we feeling in gaming first quarter? Ted doesn't even know if he's played anything new.
I have. I played Pal World.
You've also played
my
Helldivers.
God, yeah.
I've also played Helldivers.
And watched
I think-
Balatro.
One
I've
thing
watched
that,
Balatro.
that sums up 2024, beginning of 2024, Jake, is unexpected. That just a lot of these indie titles that just came out of nowhere that just released and smashing hits. Pal World being one of those.
Yep.
Balatro. Helldivers 2, like this was on no one's radar, and if anyone said it was on their radar, they're full of shit. No one played the first one. We know this, but yeah, the second one comes out and everyone's just like, holy shit, it's just a gem.
And I believe it's the best-selling game in the U.S. of 2024 so far.
Best-selling game in the US.
Yeah.
Which, when I looked at all the stats, it's like, of course, Minecraft is still on top, and they need to really clear up the.
Yeah. GTA 5, I think, was
keep
number
it
2 or something.
2024. Keep it released in 2024. I don't want to see Minecraft for the 10th year in a row, but
I mean, I would say that's still interesting that Minecraft in 2024 has sold more units
Yeah.
than brand new games. Like,
Yep.
that ain't nothing.
Well, yeah, GTA
But for
5
new
is
games,
always in the top 10 every month.
Yeah, GTA 5, yeah.
Every month on GDP. Yeah, it's
Call of
wild.
Duty, but you know.
Yeah, so I would agree, James. That's an interesting point. It's been a lot of kind of unexpected games that have done very well. A game that we've all not played but it's supposed to be great is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. That's supposed to be an excellent Metroidvania, which I'm very excited to try in a month. I've got it all planned out for my trip.
Nice.
So Ted, you've played just Helldivers.
I played Helldivers and I played Pal World.
Yeah. What have you,
Pal World,
what have you thought?
we played Pal World.
Well, I would say that 2024 has been a really interesting year in that this is the first time that I can recall that the industry is really starting to reject itself in a lot of ways of like, we're done with live service games. We're getting to a point, like we've hit that critical mass, right? Where like there aren't infinite gamers with infinite hours. In fact, I would argue more gamers are getting older
And have less time.
having less time. So we're starting to see a rejection of live service forever games. We're starting to see a rejection of, to Jake's, maybe that was off camera, but the sequel to Final Fantasy VII of like, we're done with like the sequel, the 80-hour RPG sequel to the 80-hour RPG.
Yeah.
And so that's been really interesting to kind of experience. I, for one, have mostly been checking out, like, Power World's an indie game. Helldivers 2, we could debate if that's an indie game. Triple I,
It's not indie. It was literally published by Sony.
But
It's
but
not
it's
indie.
like it wasn't definitely gonna be this type of hit, but it's now in the triple status.
But if Sony publishes a game, it's not indie.
Right. But it was
That's a
definitely
quote
not
you
meant to
can-
be
that's a quote you can
published
take home.
as like a AAA game.
Stray,
just
not an
happened.
indie game.
No, Stray is not an indie game.
But yeah, Helldivers
They-
2 comes
they
out
got
comes
hi-fi
out,
rushed.
comes out of nowhere. And I for one am having a great time playing older games.
Yeah.
Fallout, the TV show just came out, and it's like, oh, can I go back? Should I go back and play Fallout? Yeah,
And
why not?
the world
Those
has
are-
agreed with
those
you,
are,
Ted. The world is
Fallout
doing that.
3, Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout 76 had 5 million new players.
Maybe not Fallout
No,
76.
God damn it. We can go back, guys.
No,
There's
we
people
can't, James.
now.
We've done our stuff.
There's new
done,
people.
We've done our time. You wouldn't want to go back to prison. You did your time.
I am very curious. This might be old news by the time the podcast
We haven't even been to
launches,
prison
but, Fallout 76 is like breaking concurrent records. Which I think
Yeah.
is, I don't
They're
understand.
just when you look up Fallout, of course, the newest thing will show up, and so people
I know.
are playing
Do
76,
people
and they're like,
do people just
"Ooh."
not know?
No, they don't know.
Well,
They
but
don't know that it's a bad game.
There was an article where it was like they should make a game out of the series Fallout.
I saw that one.
So,
Well,
it's bad.
That has to be tongue in cheek.
Well, but also like when you really like see this show, you just search what's the like, and you don't know what Fallout is besides it. You're just going to the most recent Fallout game. Like
Right.
James said, you're not gonna hop into Fallout 3 and be like, why can't I aim very well?
But there is a new update coming for 4 tomorrow,
Yeah.
like the whatever the
next
new
gen.
gen upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, next gen. So could see 4 climbing up.
I imagine so.
but
It's supposed to be
76
Steam
is
Deck
the most
compatible
updated.
too. Like once after
Yes.
tomorrow.
I would hope so. Fallout 4.
Well,
makes the
they're
most
releasing the anthology set I saw for like a pretty decent price, where it comes with all the Fallouts that have ever existed, and you get like
You
a
can
nice
finally
little
play
collectible.
some different
mini
Fallout
nuke.
games, James, not just Fallout 4.
Yeah, I can
Here's
play
your
the turn-based point-and-click ones.
That's where Sandy Shores
Yeah.
comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from the first Fallout game.
Those games are really interesting.
The people
Yeah,
who play
actually,
those
I kinda
games
love
are,
I-
retiring soon.
They are. I genuinely think they should remake Fallout 1. I think that's faster. The fact that like real time matters, like the day, the date since you left the vault makes a difference. Like you go back to towns that are just empty because
What?
everyone left. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta play
I didn't
this
know
game. That sounds
that.
sick as hell.
Yeah,
sounds-
like the main quest to Fallout 1 is like go get a part for a vault and come back, and there's like a time limit where you can come back and it's too late. Super mutants have taken over the vault.
That's
and
really
it's
cool.
just like your main quest.
Not
is-
Bethesda,
is-
right? It wasn't Bethesda.
No. It was
that's what I thought.
Interplay.
Yeah. Okay.
Bethesda bought them
Yeah.
years
Yeah,
later.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Fallout 1 is very interesting.
What's Fallout 2 like? Tell me about that one, Ted.
Literally more of the same. You ever played
same.
Roller Coaster? You played Roller Coaster Tycoon 2?
Yeah.
You remember how it's exactly the same thing as the first one?
Yeah.
It's
It's
that.
just like that.
And
Okay,
3 is just Morrowind.
It's just more
Oblivion,
roller coasters.
Fallout.
Yeah. What? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Three is Bethesda's first game.
Yeah.
it was
right.
good.
Which
That's where it's
like,
good.
Like the math behind it is still a lot like the old Fallout's, but it is a first-person shooter at that point.
Yeah. I played that game. Actually, that's a good game.
Point is, I've gone back to the backlog, and I'm playing games of the past this year, and have been having a perfectly
You
okay
have been.
time with it.
What's like the highlight game you've played?
Elden Ring, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Going back, I've been playing a second playthrough of Elden Ring and having a great time.
Nice.
I did start playing Fallout 3, which is a personal favorite. I know New Vegas is better.
Yeah. Well, James doesn't like Fallout 3
I'm-
at all. It's not good.
Yeah. Well, James.
It's dated,
Stated.
yeah, James.
but
James
I'm
can
playing
take,
a nice
James,
melee build, and it's fun.
James can take a hike, as they say.
Oh, I'm playing it modded. I'm not playing the original.
Wow.
No,
It's
of course
playable
not.
now.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Why would you play the original game of anything?
Yeah.
True.
It's on Game Pass.
Because it's
Yeah,
it's
I
really
don't know,
dated.
man. I'm playing Pokemon Leaf Green. Like, I'm just going back
Damn.
to the well. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Who'd you start with? Who's your starter?
Bulbasaur.
James, who's your starter? Out of the original 3.
He's a Squirtle.
He is such a Squirtle. It's so obvious.
Turtle.
Yeah. Fucking called it from a mile away.
Like Blastoise.
Jake, if you pick Charmander, we'll be
So
perfect.
Charmander's my favorite Pokemon, so absolutely.
Yeah.
But I didn't pick
Yeah.
Charmander my first time playing Pokemon.
Why really?
I had a Bulbasaur. I was like
And they had a Bulbasaur,
6
too.
years old. My sister also playing the game. She had Charmander. Charmeleon, when he evolves, is like a weird little bear man from the behind. Like he looks like
Sure.
a weird bear. Jamie didn't like that, so Jamie traded me her bear Charmeleon for like some like stupid Onyx or whatever. So I was like a 7-year-old kid with a Charizard and a Venusaur in his party. Didn't know that was odd. I was like the coolest kid on campus.
You're like, this game's too easy. I don't know.
It's so cool, man. I got 2 great Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah.
James.
Just a final tip on playing Pokemon on an emulator.
Yeah.
The fast forward button, fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
James,
yes.
man.
Yeah.
Play that whole game at like 1.75 speed.
That's how I play
Easy
Balatro.
peasy. Yeah.
So you played
That's
Balatro?
speed. Yeah,
That's
there's
not
a
bad.
2x speed. It's
That's
awesome.
so funny. Yeah, Pokemon's slow as hell if you don't play with any speed.
Yeah.
James, 2024. You've played a
Mm-hmm.
few more games than Ted.
Yeah, just a little.
What so far? What is James's favorite game of 2024?
Balatro is my favorite game of 2024.
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
almost have every single card unlocked. There's only one more card I need to unlock, and it's by random chance. It's one of the legendary jokers. So I have to first get the card that lets me unlock a legendary joker, and then I have like a 1 in 5 chance of getting the one I need, and then I'll have every single thing unlocked. Which that's pretty cool. There's a completionist, and then there's like a super completionist, which is like completing every deck on every difficulty. Which
What you're gonna
sounds like a
do by the end
nightmare.
of the year?
There's no way of doing this.
You got 8 months. You're gonna definitely
Well,
do that.
there's a new update that makes the game easier, so I'm trying to get everything unlocked before the game gets too easy, which is nice. It's a quality of life type thing. Like some cards are just unplayable, like some jokers. So they're like it's a balance update, which is fine. But
Okay.
as Jokers get better, the game gets easier. So
Right.
trying to beat it before that, but
Balatro is like
I've beaten everything.
like that's gonna be high on your end of the year list.
Yeah, that's the thing. So far, I don't see any other indie game like coming close to it.
Hades 2 could
But-
be this year.
But like Hades too, of course. Like that probably
Come on.
destroy everything. And then
Of course,
of
I
course.
I know that Elden Ring DLC is gonna be good, and I really need to like figure out how we're gonna do DLC on ranking because I'm a big proponent of like Witcher 3 DLC is like the best DLC of all time, but I know this Elden Ring DLC is gonna be like a whole brand new game, basically.
And if you nominate it for Game of the Year, one of my predictions is correct. If one of us nominates for Game of the Year,
we talked about this with Cyberpunk. Like the Cyberpunk DLC, it won an award last year
Yeah.
for Game of the Year. So it's just
Yep.
Elden Ring should win something. There should be a
Even
new
though
category.
even though I protested on this podcast, they still went ahead and did it.
yeah, they didn't
There
care
should
what
be
you said.
what it was like comeback game of the year. I don't know what it, what
On
it was.
best ongoing game is on.
Best ongoing.
Ongoing.
Like Elden, there needs to be like a best DLC category or something like that, or
Yeah, I don't think
something nice.
they just don't want to call it DLC anymore. I think is kind of also they're trying to get away from that name.
I don't know. What do you call it? That expansion?
Best
Expansions.
macro transaction? Oh, okay.
No.
Best macro. I like best microtransaction though. That should be an award. This is the best microtransaction.
No,
of the
we
year.
should not be celebrating micro.
I don't know if Elden Ring would win if it was expansion because of course you have the new Final Fantasy 14 expansion coming out like right around the same time, and people
Yeah.
praise Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
so
I know. That's like the one game that I wish I was so into.
I wish I got into it in COVID, but
Yeah.
there's just
I think it's
have
better
time.
for us that we didn't, James. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we have better lives.
I
because we
definitely
didn't.
missed
Yeah,
out a
as
lot in
hosts of a
Japan.
variety show video game podcast, it's probably good that we didn't.
It's just like all
dedicate
sticking to one
ourselves-
game. Come on, Ted. Let's talk about more Final Fantasy 14.
Listen, you could be in a certain hobby and not like a certain aspect of the hobby.
It's true.
You know,
My favorite game so far this year is probably Helldivers 2 by like a good margin. That being said, like I'm such a single player game guy that like Final Fantasy Rebirth has like a little bit of that edge just because it was just me and I didn't have people yelling at me on the mics.
probably not yelling at you at
I got
Helldivers,
to-
or maybe we're yelling at you to get out of the way. Stop
Everybody's
killing
yelling at me to
us.
stop blowing them up. It's like, guys, that's my
Yeah.
game plan. Okay, my game
it.
plan is to have you guys as the bait, and I check my airstrikes. All right. If we
works.
do pretty well
Did you
tonight,
did you
I
ever
could,
play Magicka, Jake? 'Cause
no, but I've heard.
we need to play.
Yeah,
we
I've
need to
heard
play.
that. I would love
Yeah,
Magicka.
Yeah.
Every time we
think
play
you would.
Helldivers, Ted goes, Jake, you never play Magicka?
you ever play
You would
Magicka?
love Magicka. He says that
Just
every
one.
time.
We don't need to play two. Just one.
It's too bad. Anyway,
I never played two, so I said we just
That's why
play
we don't
one.
need to play it. Just like Fallout, what is it, New
They
Vegas?
try to make a MOBA. They try to make a MOBA, and already like you don't want to
Oh.
touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No.
Yeah. Anyways.
We don't have to dive into all the stats that James and I kind of researched about 2023. That I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to maybe do next week or something in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, that'd be
But
fun.
I thought
Yeah.
one thing that Ted kind of mentioned earlier in the podcast about the gaming world and gamers kind of rejecting what that is. The average gamer right now is 35 years old in the U.S. That is the most common age group in that area, which I thought was really interesting. So
really.
the average age is
Age.
35 years old. Yeah.
Do you think? I guess I would think that would mean because there is probably a massive amount of children, and I mean that like kids on one side of it. Do you think there is a lot of old people gamers, or do you think there's a bunch of like 40-year-old Madden players?
Bunch of 35 to 40-year-old
35-year-old
players. That's peak.
Call of Duty, Madden.
Like
Yeah.
peak when you had Pokemon. If you were in your middle school to high school range, because of course it's only like 5 years older than us. Then you were gaming on like a Game Boy or something like that, and then you get to experience like all the consoles in college and all that. So a lot of those content creators who were aging like from like early YouTube are still gaming, and that demographic is still gaming. And the young generation, the TikTok generation, I'm gonna call them. They're not. They don't count.
But
I mean,
they're not
gaming,
gaming.
but they're not gaming as much.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
if
a
that makes
lot of
sense.
like the younger
the
generations
content
aren't
they're
gaming.
consuming is just fast content.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which
And the
I,
older generation is not gaming.
I think too, Ted, like a lot of groups our age, like that aren't as deep as us. Like we're definitely the extreme of gaming. Where like a lot of people, and it's really, which I think is just kind of funny, is that like console owners, the average console owner has like 5 to 7 games there. The attach rate is 5 to 7 games. like per not just per year, but like total. Of like a lot of times, like people will just have a console to buy Call of Duty and Madden every year, or FIFA.
Yeah.
And like,
we've known that. For many
years. So I think.
Oh God, what was it? I've talked about it before on this podcast.
Yeah.
There was some like it was the 4 games a year. It was my Call of Duty, my sports game, my Ubisoft game, and then whatever the best game, like the top selling game of that year was.
Yeah, I remember this.
And that's your formula for like
The
your
4 games a
average
year.
console gamer.
Yeah, the attach rate stuff's always like I always think it's so interesting. Like the best selling Sony games, like that are made by Sony, their attach rate on the console is like not what you think it would be. Like it's like 25 to 30%. Like of a console.
Is that because people play them and sell them?
No, it's because so many people have these consoles that don't ever even buy Uncharted.
Oh,
like,
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But like that's why
Oh yeah.
Mario Kart is so impressive on the Switch because it's one of every 2 Switches has Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And it's like wow, like that's unheard of.
Yeah.
That's like insane. I just thought that was a really interesting stat. Was the 35 years old, our generation, and we are the gaming world is aging up with us in most senses, and we see that. I mean, it's so common. All the games that are nominated for Game of the Year are usually the M-rated, best-selling games. So
And that's also why I think the nostalgia factor is really hitting with a lot of
that's why these remakes are happening.
consoles. Paper Mario remake coming out really soon. They have a insert I just saw recently. If you pre-order, you get an insert that has the original GameCube one that you can put over your Switch cover. What is that? That's a nostalgia bait right there.
Yeah, that's a little weird thing. Okay.
But yeah, you have the Metroid Prime recently that we all loved. Like
They just remade 4 Resident Evil games.
Yeah, and so they could easily remake the original Pokemon games, like all this. Like, there's just so much you can do for nostalgia because you have people who were around at that time who have an attachment to it and will play it.
Yeah.
So
They've
that was a very interesting shot.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of wild stuff. That was something I wanted to bring up.
35.
So. 35. What is the one game this year that's coming that we've yet to play? Top of your list. What is it? What's the game you're most excited?
Elden Ring DLC.
Elden Ring.
I don't think anything will touch it.
Not even Star Wars
year.
Outlaws.
Yeah.
I'm a a little worried about Star Wars Outlaws.
What do you mean,
now.
James? This game is 100% ending with you rescuing Han Solo.
It's just,
If you can get to the
I've
end.
heard some things. So
No,
we'll
so,
see.
I think my theory is even more correct about this ending because the whole
I don't disagree.
Hubba Baloo is like we don't get to play the Jabba the Hutt mission,
Yeah.
Right.
and Ubisoft has said no, Jabba is in the game. His mission is DLC, which is like, oh, it's because you're gonna go to his palace at the end of the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
called
I
that
think that
shit.
is a shoe-in.
Yep.
Do I question the Star Wars where the Star Wars canon is going? Yes, but that's a different podcast. That's a Dago Boys podcast.
You come on the Dago Boys sometimes. Then we'll have you over. It'll be a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
time.
we can bitch.
Yeah. About what? Star Wars is perfect. It's flawless. Yeah. It's flawless, man. Come on. I know it's weird.
Star Wars is perfect.
It's perfect.
Question mark. Question
Andor's
mark. Dot question mark.
Hey, is it weird that Anakin made C-3PO and Luke Skywalker? So technically C-3PO and Luke are kind of brothers? No, we're gonna move past that.
I
Ted.
never thought of it that way.
Oh yeah, I haven't stopped thinking about that since I was
They're
6 years old.
both CGI at this point.
That's so true. Actually, you know what? Can I be honest? Anthony Daniels, I think he's still in that suit. I don't think it's CGI. I actually don't think C-3PO is CGI at all.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
It's weird to think
What
Luke
a
Skywalker.
weird what a weird twist that the robot's real but the person's fake.
Oh man, welcome to America.
I just blew some stoner's mind.
That's so true. Yeah, foreign user right now is telling his wife he's tripping out. Ted, what's the game you're looking forward to? Besides Elden Ring, I don't want to hear Elden Ring 3 times around. So give me something different.
Elden Ring.
I'm gonna disappoint you, Jake. The answer's Elden Ring. I would say for two reasons. One, I have been actually gearing up for it by playing Elden Ring currently, but also I don't have another good answer for you.
That's fair.
There is not really anything on the horizon that I'm itching for.
Yeah.
I'm curious
I looked at
about
the list too.
this year. Microsoft's first Call of Duty.
There's no Call of Duty this year. I'm
No
convinced.
Call of Duty this year.
I'm convinced.
This is the year they.
Do we know that for sure?
No, but we don't know.
No.
We don't know if there is anything. And usually it's been announced by now.
Yeah.
Or it's announced during the NBA playoffs. So
Yeah.
They're gonna come out for the NFL draft tomorrow. Quote me on this.
it's a Madden.
We picked
Call
Call
of
of
Duty.
Duty.
for the first pick of the NFL
Belichick
draft.
comes out there. Oh, yeah, actually, he won't come out
No, he
there.
won't come
Well, sadly, he won't come out there.
That's all right. We can do one season.
Yeah, no, I'm curious about
Andy
what
Reid.
Microsoft is doing, but Andy Reid. Ultimately, like I don't have it. I don't have much else on the horizon that I'm like truly itching for.
I think we are.
What about you?
We're in a lull year.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We knew we were getting this year, and this happens in the game industry, and it's going to happen more because of how long games take to make.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a 2 to 3 year lull. Like this is.
Yes.
We are currently when like everyone who conceived a game that comes out right now did it in the beginning of lockdown.
Yeah.
Backlog gears. This is what the backlog is. I'm
This
looking
is why I
forward
played all
to.
5 Metal Gear games this year. 4, excuse me.
Yeah.
I didn't finish 5. No, yeah, James, I played a lot of
need to.
Metal Gear this year. But each of them is only like 10, 12 hours, so it's okay. All right.
That's fine.
Yeah. But no, I think so. Like, I have 2 that are like, hopefully one of these comes out this year. It's my White Whale, my Moby Dick is Hollow Knight Silk Song. I think it's
Great
all
White
of them.
Buffalo.
The Great White Buffalo, Moby Dick. No, but Hollow Knight Silk Song, I really want that game to come out. I'm so curious about what that game is. Same goes for Hades 2. I know that everybody that's playing the technical test right now absolutely loves it.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to touch it
We're not-
until it's
don't touch it.
completed. Yeah,
Good.
for me, it's like I know I'm gonna love Hades 2. I'll play it when it's complete. But I'm very excited for that. And I really think it's gonna come out this year. I think it's gonna be an end of the year.
Do you think it's going to fully release this year, or just
Yes.
be out in early access?
I think
by
it's
this
gonna
year?
How long did it take last time when it was in the
Early access
playtest?
was
1 year?
A long time.
no,
longer than a year.
it wasn't a year. It
6,
was like
9
6 to
months?
8 months probably.
So I remember you playing it, and then like 6 to 8 months later it
because
comes out.
because it came out during COVID. It came out during 2020, and the technical test was 2019, or the
Whoop.
early access test
I'm
was
gonna
2019.
look it up here.
Yeah,
on
look it
camera.
up. Give me a release date for Hades. I'm thinking April.
Well,
April or
give us a
April, May.
playtest release date too.
Yeah. In early access, no, early access started when Game Awards. It was December.
2 years.
In early access?
It was in early access for 2 years.
Did it come out did Hades come out in 2021? No.
I'm gonna have to dig into this here,
Yeah.
Uh,
and I don't have my glasses.
Okay. I'm
I'll tell you.
I'm convinced that Hades was not in early access.
2020. September 2020.
It was announced for early access at the Game Awards December 6, 2018, and was released in December of 2020.
It was a whole fucking 2 years, and wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I mean, they know what they have right now, so I feel like it could have a shortened release time because it's not like they're
but
doing.
it's not
they're
it's
ground
not
up.
early access yet, James. It's just a technical test. So this isn't even early access, unless they don't do early access.
Hope they don't.
Totally possible.
That's totally possible.
I believe they stated they wanted to.
I thought they did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I think
they in the documentary they credited a lot of their success
to the early access.
to having community input every step of the way. Going, we like this, we don't like this, and they were
And they
able
take
to
it
tweak.
easy. They're not going to crunch. I feel like it's not
No,
going to come out this year.
okay, then it's not coming out this year. So scrap that. So I'm intrigued by Star Wars Outlaws. We'll see how that goes.
That's coming out.
I'm really curious.
That is coming out.
That is coming out. That is coming out. And James
And they're
is
going to
thrilled.
crunch for it. They're going to put
yeah.
36 hours and 24
Cracking
hours.
the whip over there at Ubisoft to finish that game at like 12 different studios.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a very big lull year. So I'm curious what Nintendo's got cooking, if they've got one other game this fall, because the Switch 2 has been delayed till next year. So we're probably not getting a Switch game either this fall. So yeah.
Which I'm
Oh,
gonna
we
try.
are. We're getting Luigi's Mansion 2 remix.
Okay. So we're
HD,
not
yeah.
getting a
And-
Switch game this fall.
I will say sorry, James. Switch releases have been lackluster.
You just haven't played Luigi's Mansion 3 or the new Mario Rabbids.
Y'all fucking didn't play Tears of the Kingdom. Literally the best video game of all time was released last year on the Switch.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
it had to compete with every other game.
No, I'm
It won
talking
some
about.
awards, right? It was there.
Fuck you. It was there. Fuck off.
No, this year, like Switch releases have included like what Mario versus Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
and that Princess
Princess
Peach
Peach
game,
Showdown.
Which was not good, right?
Well, I mean, it reviewed well. But
It was like not meant
it's-
for. It's meant for like children. Like it's a kids
Yeah,
game.
It was advertising everywhere in Japan, and I saw no one interested in it.
Yeah,
In stores, it was advertised like crazy. No one was buying any copy of it.
yeah, like
I'm not
Nintendo
surprised.
is very much
Yeah.
is focusing on. I mean, technically, Mario versus Donkey Kong is a remake, but like those are games for kids, for 6 to 9 year olds, like genuinely for children.
Yeah.
And I don't see them pulling another Tears of the Kingdom out of a hat in the next 365 days.
No. The only thing I could see them doing is it's gonna come out, but Metroid's gonna come out on Switch too. So like they're not gonna release something here and then 6 months later put it on Switch 2. It's gonna come out at the same time.
I can call back my prediction that I think it's weird there's no Luigi's Mansion 1, and so I could see them definitely being like, we have GameCube games online.
So,
but that I wouldn't call that a Switch release.
No, that would just be in the. I don't know. Go ahead.
I think they've rumored that Metroid Prime remakes are still coming. That The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker and Twilight Princess have Switch ports ready that we just haven't heard about. So I could see maybe a lot of that kind of falling. So I don't know.
I'm gonna say that's wishful. That's wishful thinking.
It is. I just want to play Twilight Princess.
Talk about nostalgia bait. That's like nostalgia conspiracy.
I want to play Wind Waker so bad.
No. Twilight Princess, man, it's there. It's ready to go.
Good,
You
dude.
just need to press a green button.
Ted, you get to play as a wolf in this game. You get to play as a wolf.
You don't have to sell me on it.
Because you don't want to play it.
I do want to play it. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's 2024. It's going to be a weird year. And you know what? We're going to be here with you guys for most of it. Next week, both James and Ted are gone. But I'll be here, and I'm going to have a guest. And we're going to talk about something. I'm sure of it. So you can take it to the bank. Positive. I'm positive. Do I know who's going to be on this podcast?
Surely.
No. But I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll have a show for you.
I love the idea of Jake making like an X-Force B team. Like just
X-Force?
Just two other
with Todd and
two other people in the same spots, but different
Todd
people.
and Jamie, welcome.
Todd and Jamie. I love that so much. Before we go, have you guys seen this Wolverine Deadpool trailer? And is it like...
No,
yes.
not yet.
Yes, Ted.
We're going to watch it after this.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for watching the 167th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. That's Ted. And we will see you next week. Or I will see you. Fuck these guys. They won't.
You will.
We're on vacation.
We're on vacation. No, you're not. You're just at your mom's house.